All right, welcome everyone to the Computer Science Education Update from the New York State Education Department. I'm Brad Boyles. I'm an assistant in instructional services in the Office of Career and Technical Education at the New York State Education Department. In my role in the office, I support programs in information technology and computer science. Since joining the office in March, I have met many of you, and I'm looking forward to working with a lot of you in the future to expand computer science across New York State.
And I am Andrea Bambas. I'm the Associate in Instructional Services in the Office of Educational Design and Technology. I also support everything computer science and have worked with many of you already on the standards and trying to get everything out there. All right. So currently, I manage the Smart Start grant. This program goal is to implement the implementation of fully developed programs that provide professional development and support to increase expertise in computer science, engineering, and/or educational technology. This is including the new computer science and digital fluency standards among teachers in grades K through 8, and to allow those teachers to become in-house experts in their schools or districts. It is anticipated that by the end of the 5 years of this grant, that over 6,000 teachers will be trained through this PD program. So that's just kind of a quick overview if you have not heard of the Smart Start grant prior. Next slide. So part of this grant requirement is that awardees must share their programs and artifacts for free with the rest of New York State. So if you haven't looked at this yet, it is on our webpage, and it is a really good resource if you're getting into the standards at this point in time. So we're going to take a look at just some of the highlighted artifacts that I think have come out that are really good, just to kind of show you some of the things that are coming out. So the first one, thank you, Brad.
1 second to open up
a
new window.
This first one that he's going to have up is a scope and sequence created for all the standards. It was created by Monroe 1 BOCES Consortium. So it is very helpful if you're not sure where to start and you're just looking for, how do I start doing these standards? Where do they go? Where do they start? It's a very good resource. Next one is a book list that is aligned to the K-8 CSDF standards by subconcept. This was by the Kenmore-Tonawanda Union Free School District. I love that it includes, ELA into the computer science standards. There's a whole bunch of different books on there, and it's a way to get this in. And the last one that we're going to highlight is a 4-week lesson plan that incorporates ELA, social studies, science, the computer science digital fluency standards, and art standards. This is by Yonkers City School District. Again, computer science, yes, can be standalone, but we really want this to be incorporated into what you're already doing, because we don't want to make this a big transition. It should be incorporated, and there are some really great resources that you can get on there. So we just finished year 2 this past spring of the grant with over 2,100 teachers trained, and are currently beginning year 3, training more and more teachers in the new standards. We're also working on an in-house project to categorize all of these artifacts into one big searchable database, and we're hoping that that should be ready later this fall. We are currently working on it with an intern, and hopefully that can be out, so it's a little easier to find these resources. Next slide. So currently, we do have some resources on our the NYSED Computer Science Digital Fluency webpage that can be very useful. Right here, we have a customizable Excel chart that you can see. This gives an educator an opportunity to filter based on grade band or concept area, and it includes some examples based all into this one document. So if you're looking for a place to start, it's a great place to get some ideas. It provides an easy way to individualize the standards according to your preference. And so again, this is a great resource just to get them going. Next slide, please. We also have formed a content advisory panel to develop various resources for the field. The panel met regularly to review and revise the Computer Science and Digital Fluency Roadmap. The roadmap highlights shared goals, objectives, activities that support key stakeholders with the transition process. Major stakeholders included NYSED, BOCES, higher education, local school districts, the New York City Department of Education, and more. The purpose of this roadmap, which again is also on our website, is to assist and support districts and educators with the transition to full implementation of the learning standards. And it's organized according to the 4 phases of implementation. We are currently in phase 3, which is initial implementation. So this is all the way through August 2024. This means that right now, if you have any credit-bearing computer science courses, they should be aligned to the New York State Computer Science and Digital Fluency Standards. And you should, as schools and districts, continue capacity building, as well as curriculum development, resource acquisition, and professional development. Full implementation for students K through 12 begins in September 2024, which I know we're in September 2023. It's going to come faster than we all think. You can sign up for some important updates regarding the standards and certification and professional development through the content area notification service, which Brad will give a little more information about later. Next slide. So current hot topic is AI in education and computer science, and where's all this going? So in case anyone has not seen, the US Department of Education came out with an Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Teaching and Learning report. They give a lot of information. It's a very long read if you go through the whole thing, but it does include 7 recommendations of things that districts and schools and people can do, like emphasize humans in the loop and inform and involve educators. Not all the 7 things directly apply to education, but this is definitely worth a read, as we're all computer technology people in education, it's worth looking at. It's also important to note that before you use any of the AI tools in your classrooms or with students, to make sure you're checking with your district administration to make sure that everything is A-okay. Next slide, please. So again, with the AI and education, implementing and teaching the computer science and digital fluency standards will help us all navigate this new world of AI. AI connects to the standards in many different ways. We can see here it's mentioned in many of the concept areas and subconcept areas, like impacts of computing with society and ethics, cybersecurity with safeguards, and digital literacy with the digital citizenship. So as we're teaching these standards, we're going to be helping our students understand AI and everything that it can imply. So that is it for me on my part. I'm going to turn things over to Brad.
Thank you so much, Andrea. That was fantastic. All right, before I begin, I'm going to kind of review how we got here and where we're going to be headed. So I've got a little timeline here just to kind of recap some of the important events over the last couple of years. So in March 2018, the Board of Regents approved amendments to regulations that established the new certification and tenure area for computer science. Work began on developing those computer science learning standards, leading to the Board of Regents adopting those new K through 12 computer science and digital fluency learning standards in December of 2020. Along with the standards, the board also approved a timeline that outlined the dates by which districts are required to begin implementing those new standards. In October of 2022, the Board of Regents extended those deadlines to 2024. Teachers of certain computer science courses must hold the computer science certificate, which I'll talk about in a second, or the computer science statement of continued eligibility by September 1st, 2024. The Board of Regents also amended the definition of career and technical education to include computer science in October of 2022. In April 2023, the New York State Education Department released a memo that outlined which courses are going to require the computer science all grade certificate or the statement of continued eligibility effective in the 2024-2025 school year. So between now and September 2024, the New York State Education Department is going to focus on supporting local professional learning needs to ensure alignment with the New York State computer science and digital fluency standards, as well as certification requirements as local schools and districts approach full implementation. I'm going to discuss three aspects of implementation tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about certification. I'm going to talk about computer science at the middle level. And finally, I'll wrap up with NYSED approved secondary CTE programs in computer science. The first topic I'm going to touch on is certification. The Office of Teaching Initiatives is the office at the New York State Education Department who's responsible for issuing certificates to certify that an individual has met required degree, coursework, assessment, and experience requirements. The computer science all grades classroom certificate is very similar to other classroom teaching certificates and has a number of the same requirements. New York State has a number of routes or preparation pathways depending on an individual's background and preferences to obtain certification. Candidates for the certificate could complete a New York State registered teacher preparation program in computer science, or choose an alternate, more individualized pathway. Once you've decided on your pathway, you need to complete the requirements for the certificate and submit an application, any supporting documents, and fee to the New York State Education Department. Make sure when you are applying, you select the appropriate certificate by category or area of interest, subject area, grade level, title, and type. Questions about certification should be directed to the Office of Teaching Initiatives at tcert@nysed.gov, and Andrea is going to drop that in the chat. Thank you. The Statement of Continued Eligibility, or SOCE, is the other pathway through which teachers can become certified to teach certain computer science courses after September 1st, 2024. The computer science SOCE is available right now, so you can apply for the SOCE right now. And the information that I'm including on this slide can be accessed on the Office of Teaching Initiatives Computer Science SOCE webpage. And Andrea just dropped that in the chat as well. Thank you. The Statement of Continued Eligibility is available to teachers who meet the following requirements. Teachers must hold a valid professional or permanent teaching certificate. Teachers must have taught at least one acceptable computer science course between September 1st, 2017 and September 1st, 2024, while holding a valid teaching certificate in a New York State public school, BOCES, or other school where teacher certification is required. The computer science teaching experience could be completed while holding any valid teaching certificate, for example, an initial certificate. Acceptable courses are listed on the Office of Teaching Initiatives website. In addition, the employer would need to submit a superintendent statement in Teach, verifying that the teacher taught an acceptable computer science course by recording the course ID number and the course name from that acceptable course list. In the superintendent statement, the employer will be verifying the computer science teaching experience, as well as current employment in the public school, BOCES, or other school where teacher certification is required. Teachers also need to complete the following workshops if they have not already completed them for a previous certificate: the Child Abuse Identification and Reporting Workshop, the Dignity for All Students Act Workshop, and the School Violence Intervention and Prevention Workshop. Finally, teachers must complete fingerprint clearance if they have not already completed it for a previous certificate. It's also important to note that the SOCE cannot be transferred between districts or BOCES. Now I'm going to move on to computer science at the middle level. To give a broader perspective of computer science at the middle level, I want to touch on some of the changes that have occurred in regulations. In September 2017, the Board of Regents revised the CTE portion of Commissioner's Regulations 100.4C. The main provisions are that all middle level students are entitled to 1 3/4 unit of career and technical education. That instruction can begin as early as grade 5, and instruction can be delivered by teachers certified in any title in any CTE content area, so long as it is through the lens of their content area. Previously, this was restricted to just the areas of technology education and family and consumer science. To assist schools in providing CTE content at the middle level, work was done to develop CTE theme modules. These CTE theme modules provide the basis for middle level CTE. They are foundational, cross-content, and standards-based. They represent knowledge and skills that will benefit all students as they move to high school, regardless of the pathway they choose. The theme modules are designed for instruction by teachers certified in any title in any of the 7 CTE content areas, those being agriculture, business and marketing, now computer science, family and consumer sciences, health science, technology, and trade and technical. In addition to the CTE theme modules, CTE content modules were developed. CTE content modules provide the context to engage students in those themes. The content modules are specific to each CTE content area. They're standards-based, and they connect middle level to high school. CTE teachers will use those content modules aligned with their certification areas to develop meaningful learning experiences that help their students attain the theme module standards. These theme and content modules can be found on the link that Andrea just dropped in the chat. Now, this is where computer science comes in. As of October 2022, computer science may be used to meet that 1 3/4 unit of CTE in the middle level. Additionally, 4 content modules have been developed and posted to NYSED's Career and Technical Education middle level webpage. Those 4 content modules focus on the computational world, computational thinking, data collection and management, and digital literacy and citizenship. And I encourage everyone to take a look at those. They are fantastic. The last topic I'm going to cover this evening is NYSED approved secondary CTE programs. Part 100.5D of the Commissioner's Regulations on Diploma Requirements outlines how districts and BOCES can develop NYSED-approved secondary career and technical education programs. These programs provide academic and technical instruction in the content areas of agriculture, business and marketing education, computer science, family and consumer sciences, health sciences, technology education, and trade and technical education. These programs enable students to earn at least 3.5 credits, 7 credits in New York City, in focused and rigorous courses that form a cohesive concentration. This is inclusive of at least half a credit in career and financial management. NYSED-approved CTE programs are developed to deliver a related combination of courses and experiences in a career and technical area to confer academic and technical knowledge and skills in preparation for further education, training, and/or future employment. Courses in the program are taught by appropriately certified and qualified teachers who supplement their classroom instruction with work-based learning experiences for students. Student progress in the programs is recorded through a work skills employability profile, performance on technical assessments, and other data that's collected on student performance in academic and technical areas. The required components of a NYSED-approved CTE program include a meaningful learning strand of CTE courses, which now can include computer science courses, connections to academic content, an employability profile, work-based learning opportunities, at least one post-secondary agreement, which could be an articulation agreement and/or a dual credit agreement, a 3-part technical assessment comprised of written and performance parts secured from a nationally recognized industry-based vendor and a locally developed project. Courses are all taught by appropriately certified CTE teachers, and there is a system for collecting, reporting, and using data to improve the program. So why should you consider getting your computer science pathway approved as a NYSED approved CTE program. There are a number of benefits to getting your program approved. The first being that your CTE program can act as a 4+1 graduation pathway for students. These programs also give you the ability to offer integrated and specialized coursework. It helps provide access to work-based learning opportunities, provides access to post-secondary benefits. In addition, students can receive a technical endorsement, which distinguishes them from other graduates. And also students who complete an approved program may earn the school 2 points on the school's ESSA College Career and Civic Readiness Index. As a member of the Office of CTE, I'm always happy to help any school who's thinking about developing a computer science NYSED approved program. In addition to our office, the Career and Technical Education Technical Assistance Center of New York, or the TAC, is a fantastic resource. The CTE TAC operates under a state contract to assist the New York State Education Department in carrying out its mission of improving the quality, access, and delivery of career and technical education through research-based methods and strategies resulting in broader CTE opportunities for all students. The TAC has a number of field associates who cover different regions of New York and can assist you in the program approval process. I provided a link to their website on the bottom of this slide, and I think Andrea also just dropped it in the chat. Thank you, Andrea. Before we wrap up, I'm going to come back to the CANS, the Content Area Notification Service that Andrea mentioned earlier. So the Office of Standards and Instruction developed this email notification service to provide educators important information relevant to their area of certification and assignment. We encourage everyone to join the relevant notification service for the content areas so you're able to receive updates directly to your email. And Andrea just dropped the link to that in the chat as well. Finally, that's going to conclude tonight's presentation. I've included some contact information here if you have any questions, so you can reach either the Office of Career and Technical Education, the Office of Educational Design and Technology, or Andrea or myself directly using those emails in orange. I also highly recommend checking out the website links we've provided. Both pages feature a ton of resources about standards, certifications, and program approval. I also wanted to thank Tom and the CS for New York team for having us tonight and for being so great to work with. And with that said, unless Andrea has anything else to say, I'm going to pass it back to Tom.
Yeah, I just wanted to also say thank you for coming, guys, and we really appreciate it. And if you do have questions, we highly advise that you reach out. We're pretty attentive to our emails, and we appreciate you guys all coming. And thanks, Tom.
Did you want to answer, Lori put a question in there? Are schools being held accountable for rolling out the standards? Or maybe further, like, are they being communicated to about rolling out the standards and or being held accountable?
That is kind of a tricky question, as you know, they are new standards and there's no test really with them yet. But we do. It's one of those things where why wouldn't you be teaching these standards? I think everybody in this group can really understand the importance and the benefit to all students to have these skills and knowledge. And we can't think of a reason you wouldn't want them to know all these standards. So like I said, there's not going to be a specific test. I don't think, the NYSED police is going to come and check on every district or anything. But to say in the future there might be something that comes up, we can't say yay or nay at this point.
Cool. All right. Thank you for the question, Lori. Awesome. And thank you so much to Andrea and Brad. You've been amazing partners to work with. This is a good chance for us to also say CS for NY does not have official answers. We're just helping out, spreading the word. NYSED has official answers to all your questions. So Andrea, Brad, and their teams are the people you ask about certification and standards and all the resources that they provide. We're just helping you to point you in the right direction and contact districts to make sure they know about it. Cool, excellent. There are a couple more questions in the chat. Do you want to see if you can get to those in the chat, I guess? Would the certification requirement apply for elementary school teachers teaching elementary school, or is that more middle and high school?
So I'm going to refer you to the SOCE webpage. Actually, while it is directed at the SOCE, it does have a link to the memo with the specific courses that will require the certification. We did make sure not all computer science courses require the certification. There are just, I believe it's only 10 courses that you have to have the computer science certification for. They are mostly secondary. Not all of them are secondary. There are some middle and high school ones. We did make sure that most, if not all, the elementary ones are, we didn't really change. There's still any valid cert. There are still some secondary ones that are any valid cert. So we're trying to make it as, you know, if it's basic introduction computer courses, it shouldn't be, don't quote me on that, it shouldn't be a problem, but it's really going to depend on how you code your courses. So it's going to be important to look next year when the course certification crosswalk comes out, that you pay extra attention to what changes, if there's been changes to courses that you have been using, and make sure to code them correctly with the correct certification of teacher teaching.
Yeah, and same thing for your SOCE. The SCED codes are what make you eligible for applying for your SOCE. So check with your district about what SCED code your course is coded under now, and see what you're eligible for, and then see if you need a certification to teach that course in the future, and think about, am I ever going to teach a SCED coded course that I need the certification for?
That is great advice, Tom.
Wonderful. There are elementary teachers who've gone through the Hunter College certification program and really enjoyed it. That's, you can ask, we'll get them to give their testimonials as well. And then,
yeah, Lynette, you just have to teach one course between 2017 and 2024. So between now and September, if you haven't taught one yet, you just need one. That's all you need. And there is a list of acceptable courses on that SOCE webpage. Again, Michael, that goes back to, you got to check the SCED code and what it's crosswalk to. They're not just automatically certified to teach any computer science course. Half year is fine, Danielle. So you really, like, it goes back to checking that crosswalk and making sure that you're certified to teach whatever the course is coded to.
Jim has a future question that I don't think you have the answer to. Will the standards be included in other state exams? Computational biology, for example.
I refer to no comment on that at this point in time.
Excellent.
We can, Brad and I can make the we'll get the presentation accessible, and we'll shoot it over to Tom.
Yep. And once again, this, the magical replay button will have this presentation available for you for 48 hours after this entire event ends. So over the weekend as well. So you'll be able to rewatch things. And it'll be sending all the recorded videos to us, and we'll put them up on YouTube and put them on cs4ny.org. So you can send it out to friends and superintendents. All right, excellent. Getting all the thank yous and no more questions. But thank you for staying on a bit extra for questions. Wonderful. In our last